When the first initial photo of Jared Leto as the Joker was released, the internet was aflutter. Now, with actual footage being released of him in character, you can consider the internet full-blown ablaze. It all started when Cesar Romero had a campy fun about him. Cesar Romero played the Joker in the Batman television series as well as the movie that accompanied that series. Romero played it with a bit of a campy fun about him. It was a campy show, so he wasn't really doing anything extraordinary. He was just kind of in with the material. For 1989, Jack Nicholson took on the role. For all intents and purposes, he had a very similar look to the Cesar Romero Joker and basically turned off the lights. It was campy, but somehow it had a dark overtone. That role was considered legendary and hard to match. So much so that even with the mud that the series was dragged through throughout the 90s, they didn't even attempt to recreate the role. So it's understandable that when Heath Ledger took the role on in The Dark Knight, there was mass speculation. The speculation was tremendous. When we finally got to see Heath Ledger in action, Heath Ledger actually showed he was the most grounded of the three. Not cartoony, not campy, but realistic. Somebody that you could imagine, if they were crazy enough, could exist. No toxic sludge, no painted over mustache. This is a man who you weren't even sure if he cut himself, but you wouldn't put it past him if he did. Most will agree Ledger completely enveloped himself in the role. And the Academy noticed, and while people once thought Nicholson had the untouchable role, with the internet, now Ledger had the role that was simply unspeakable. However, here we are just 10 years later, and Jared Leto is tackling the role and doing something of his own. Leto, of course, an Oscar winner. So the general question of can he do it should be put to rest already. As for the look, Leto appears to be heading back to Romero, but with that one similarity. Heath Ledger had this bizarre take on his role, and when people looked at Nicholson, they would trace many things back to Romero, whereas Heath Ledger seemed to have some shocking composition all his own. The look of Jared Leto just appears to be along those similar lines of the Romero Joker, but there's one similarity to Heath Ledger.
I have a growing level of popularity throughout the intercontinental United States, Japan, and I travel extensively in Europe as well.
When listening to a young Tom Waits deliver an interview, one can't help but hear Heath Ledger's Joker in there. And now with the, albeit small, snippet of footage of Leto's Joker, it appears as if while he's borrowing from the Romero/Nicholson look,
I have a growing level of popularity throughout the intercontinental United States.
These cops and lawyers wouldn't dare cross any of you.
Oh, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna hurt you. Really, really bad.
his sound is borrowing from Ledger. Or should I say, Waits?